I'm Alan Weiss, and this is the writing on the wall. Hi, I'm Alan Weiss. This is the Writing on the Wall, episode 40, Reciprocating Exponential Value, REV. This is sort of my newest revelation. Let me make a disclaimer. I'm sure it's not unique to me. I'm sure someone has documented this. It might be, Oswald's law of the fourth order, and I know many of you will write to tell me. So I don't pretend that I invented this, but it is something that I found sort of interesting. So I call it REV, Reciprocating Exponential Value. I hope you can use this in your practice, in your business, in your profession. I build communities. And as I create communities of professionals, entrepreneurs, speakers, consultants, facilitators, you name it, the more people who enter my community, the more valuable it is. And the more people of value who enter my community, because they see that value, the more valuable it becomes. Here's the analogy. If you take a look at the iPhone and the apps for the iPhone, the more people who make apps for an iPhone, the more valuable the iPhone becomes. I think right now, as I'm speaking, there are something like 70,000 apps for the iPhone. And so the more of these apps that are created, the more valuable the iPhone becomes. The more valuable the iPhone becomes, the more people want to write apps, and you're in this very nice circle. And that's what I'm talking about with REV. So the community works the same way. The more value you provide, the more people are attracted. The more people are attracted, the more value in the community. And the more resources, the more responsiveness, the more peer recognition, the more education, the more specialization, and so forth and so on can be provided within that community. And you create this tremendous cycle of value. So you can raise fees and still attract more and more people at the higher end because of this tremendous, non-stop, perpetual value that you create. And you're vested, really, to ensure that return because of the people you create around you and their worth. And so this is REV, Reciprocating Exponential Value. You've heard me talk before, and you'll see on my blog, if you wish to go there, the accelerant curve, which talks about having low barrier to entry so people can get to know you. Free downloads, inexpensive books, teleconferences, which are non-intimate and low-priced and low barrier to entry. And the accelerant curve brings people down, brings people forward, helps them sort of put some speed to their association with you, to where there are high fees and high intimacy. And that helps people get to know you and to trust you. So that's two-dimensional. What I like about REV is that it's three-dimensional. It involves a value being in the community that encompasses a great deal of one's profession and one's life. So it's a three-dimensional community offering value to the person who forms it, that person offering it back to the people in the community, and people offering it to each other. So I ask you, what are you doing with your customers? What are you doing with your suppliers? What are you doing with your colleagues? What are you doing with your prospects? What are you doing with your members? What are you doing with people in communities you formed, either deliberately or accidentally, or could form? How are you creating this REV? The major shortfall, the major problem with many professional associations is they have no REV. And by dint of joining it, all you get is some initials after your name. Or you get a monthly newsletter. But you don't really get to talk to other members unless you pay a fortune and go to a convention somewhere. And you don't really get to interact, and you don't really get to provide your own value. And so I think that this aspect of community, and I have trademarked the phrase architect of professional communities because I've done this with so many. I think communities are taking the place of professional associations. Now, professional associations that turn themselves into communities, become communities, they have intrinsic value, but not enough are doing that. Sort of like a white German Shepherd in a silver Bentley. That's a rare sight. And reciprocating exponential value, that's pretty rare for people too. See where you can find it, but better yet, see how you can form it. Let's go, Koufax. Come on, Koufax. Get in the car. In the car. Good boy.